Car 1, at the start of the first competitive stage, Greg Carr.
We virtually start the rally cold. In fact, if I'm ever going to have an accident, that's usually where it happens.
Greg Carr is favourite for the CASTROL 79 International Rally. He's won it for the last 4 years. He's the current Australian rally champion, and being a local, must know the Canberra forests as well as any of the drivers. That's one ace up his sleeve. The others are his works escort BDA and his navigator Fred Gacentis. Carr completes special stage 1. Other drivers are on their way. The official start. Car 3, the Marlboro Holden dealer team Gemini, driven by Wayne Bell and his navigator Dave Boddy. Car 4, the leading international driver, current New Zealand champion Blair Robson, with co-driver Chris Porter. The rally is made up of 40 competitive stages and 45 transport stages over 2 day divisions and 1 night division. The objective is to finish each stage as quickly as possible, but here at the first passage control, Greg Carr loses vital seconds. The passage controls are set up to stop drivers taking shortcuts. The cars are let out of start controls 1 minute apart, and chasing Greg Carr, the man expected to issue the challenge, Car 2, the Nissan Works driver George Fury and navigator Monty Suffin in a Datsun Stanza. Wayne Bell is recognised as one of the fastest drivers in Australia, and with extra power supplied by the turbocharger in his Gemini, there's every chance that he may just prove it. However, in the very first stages, there are already signs of trouble with his gearbox. The Massport escort of Blair Robson will be serviced by his own New Zealand crew and Jerry Ball's Canberra crew, and although it's the New Zealanders' first rally in the Canberra forests, they're no strangers to international competition. At set intervals, the cars are allowed to be serviced. Greg Carr in for his first. At this stage, everything appears to be routine after the frustrations at the start.
We had 2 little problems. First one was nothing to do with the car, but we came across some cattle. Of course, I thought we're going about probably 80 mile an hour. I thought, I wonder which way they're going to go. I thought, they look like they're going to go to the right. So I went to the left. And what did you know? They turned around and went the other way. So that was a bit of a desperate. We had to stop and we shifted them. So it probably cost us some time. And this sort of rally where seconds count, you can't afford to have that sort of happen too often.
Were you pre-warned that it was stuck on the route?
No. But that could be my navigator. He doesn't want to tell me too many things to slow me down, so he didn't tell me, but we've just had a problem with the fuel pump. In this last stage, the fuel pump just cut out.
Did you finish the stage all right?
Yeah, we've got 2 pumps with an auxiliary wiring loom to it, and we connected that up and away we went. But we lost probably a few seconds also there.
Now that the rally's actually started, how do you feel?
Oh,
Over
good.
the tenseness at the start?
good once you get going. Good fun. Bit hot, that.
But the initial start of the rally is is it a hard thing for you to get involved?
Yeah, I guess everyone gets nervous to a degree, but I've been doing it for probably 8 years, so you know I don't get that nervous, but just get a bit tense. But now once we're going, it's really good.
Do you feel as the rally progresses that your job as a driver in terms of enthusiasm and concentration improves?
Oh yeah, for sure. Rallying's so expensive, we just, no one has a practice car, so we virtually start the rally cold. So the first few stages you're a bit ragged and just getting the feel for things. In fact, if I'm ever going to have an accident, that's usually where it happens. So we've got over that stage now and should be plain sailing, hopefully.
The second works escort is driven by Colin Bond. He's won the Australian Rally title 3 times and is the most experienced and versatile driver in the field. His co-driver in the CASTROL and partner of many campaigns is John Dawson-Damon. The rest of the field is made up of cars prepared by their owners. Leading the privateers is Jeff Portman in a highly modified Datsun 1600 entered by Autosport. His navigator, Ross Runnels. The Lancer, car 7, is driven by Ian Hill from Gosford with top-seated woman navigator Anne Heaney acting as co-pilot. Less than 50 kilometres of competitive running across a grinding, rocky dust bowl, and already the troubles have started. A selector shaft has come loose in a turbocharged Gemini, and they've lost first and second gears. At this stage, it doesn't seem to worry Wayne Bell.
Bit of a problem actually at this early stage, but the boys are going to change the gearbox now, and we should be back on the road without any loss of points anyway.
And how long will it take you to put the new gearbox in?
Possibly 25 minutes, something like that. We have 30-minute late time, so we should be able to do it in time.
So you're going to run very close to the border actually in picking up late time?
Yes, we'll be fairly close, but I think we'll be all right.
How did the car feel over that first section?
Oh, it's going quite well. We were quite happy. It's all been a lot of fun, actually. But, of course, without first or second gear, it makes it a little bit hard. But I think when we get it going again, we'll be right. We'll be back up there with them again.
30 minutes is plenty of time for routine servicing, but not for major mechanical work like changing a gearbox. Teams are penalised for working beyond those 30 minutes. In the next special stage, Greg Carr and the Escort are proving a formidable combination. He has a clear run at the head of the field, but is throwing rocks and dust over the route for following cars. The dust is still hanging in low-lying areas away from the wind, yet George Fury's pursuit is relentless. Despite a flat tyre which has cost him 30 seconds and an exhaust flattened by a rock, he is still able to match or better Greg Carr. In the service area, other competitors have limped, rolled or crawled through the first stages. After a blistering start, Ian Hill lost his brakes and will have to change the front strut assembly. John Sproul has rolled his Escort RS 2000 and the service crew will have to bandage a makeshift windscreen into the car so they can continue without dust in their eyes. And Kevin Bartlett has seen the first signs of major engine trouble in the Gulf. It's a problem that will eventually force him out of the event.
No, I've just been around the troopers, mate. They haven't done anything about them. So what are you going to do? You're going to fire it up and see how it goes. So what do you think I want?
And now Blair Robson's in trouble with a blown rear tyre. Robson has 7 kilometres to finish the stage, and with one tyre out and running on the rim, he has all sorts of trouble trying to control the powerful mass sport Escort at high speed. It's a professional performance of controlled driving. From the middle of the field, Ed Mulligan has surprised everyone with a determined drive that has lifted him to 6th position. With the rear wheel changed, Robson is out to make up time. On these back roads at speeds of 150 kph, the coordination between the driver and the navigator must be spot on. Drivers are occasionally forced to take risks, but there are no excuses made for mistakes.
90-degree right, through gate, 90-degree right, through the gate. Then left. Left.
The drivers push their cars to the limit, and sometimes their own ability beyond the limit. Their adrenaline is high, yet the driver must control his nerves. He has to stay cool to anticipate turns and terrain, manipulate gears and handbrake, concentrate for co-driver instructions, and all the time hold the power on for as long as possible.
Keep left, just keep left. That's it.
Despite this, they still respect their machines because they know that one stamp too many on the accelerator can throw them from one side of the road to the other and possibly completely out of control.
Turn left over cattle stop.
Mid-afternoon, and the cars arrive for another service. The Datsun Stanza is running second, almost a minute down. Rallying is a complete contrast in lifestyles for George Fury. He's a farmer from Albury. So how does he adapt to the pressures of competitive rally driving?
Personally, well, I rally because I enjoy rallying and I enjoy competing. So the pressure doesn't really worry me all that much. Sure, there's pressure there, but I just enjoy it, you know?
In a short stage event like the CASTROL, there are plenty of things to worry about. Yet Monty Suffin, like most navigators, appears on the surface to be cool, calm and collected.
I think I'm feeling pretty haggard at the moment. No, the worry here is simply the continuous pressure. You know, this is a real pressure event, this, and we just have to keep it going as best we can and keep the pressure on.
Rallying is a funny sort of sport. You're all alone out there by yourself and you don't know what the other man's doing, you know. And so you're always out there doing your best, more or less driving against yourself. So there is not a great deal of point in involving yourself in bickering and all that sort of thing between the drivers. We're reasonably good mates, all of us, and that's it. As far as I'm concerned anyway. Some other people might view it differently.
Rallying is a two-man effort. It's the navigator's job to guide the car around the course correctly and safely. He must be able to recover from mistakes quickly and psychologically monitor his driver, give him a boost where necessary, and not let anything distract their attention, particularly in trying conditions like dust. The navigator's other main job is to keep an eye on the opposition.
Point 2, turn left, caution, ruts. .1, turn left, caution, ruts. .3, turn right. .2, turn right. .1, turn right. Oh, the bloody hell is it? Yeah, it is.
Special stage 10, Columbine picks up a flat on a rear tyre and drops 16 seconds to his nearest rival, Jeff Portman. Over the last 2 seasons, Jeff Portman has shown remarkable consistency. Again, in this year's Castrol, his ability is obvious. He's been within seconds of Greg Carr on each competitive stage and is running fast enough to be in 4th position. Division 1 ends with a special stage at Majura Park. Ray Vandersea in the Datsun 120Y is the Queensland champion, and at the completion of the first division is lying 9th after a trouble-free run. Others have met disaster.
You're right, Frank.
You right, mate?
Yeah, get here. Mind that glass.
Okay.
There's a broken door glass here too.
Okay.
Where's your navigator?
I'm here.
Get her up before the oil runs down.
Okay, you want to get her over?
Get away from that side, mate.
Get her over. What do we got?
Stay with her, mate, and good luck to you.
Okay, we've got to mention this probably.
The Mazda RX-3, driven by Frank Johnston and Stephen Vanderbilt.
Where's the shot in the back? Okay. The timing marker's just there, Frank.
Okay.
Frank, just see if we can get it past that silly thing. God only knows.
What's that?
It's only oil. Move over to the others.
Any not down on the wheel, is it? Just check the bonnet.
Hey, just get past the marker, Frank.
You're right. You're right.
Put her in neutral, we'll push it down to the marker.
Push it, swing around, we'll get it past this timing marker. We're going this way. Steve. All right.
Undeterred, they will go on and finish the rally in 17th place. A short rest and then the start of the night division. There are 12 competitive stages to be completed during the night. Greg Carr leads the field by 47 seconds from George Fury. It isn't long before George Fury realises that it's not only Greg Carr he has to beat, there's an added problem. He has to beat the dust. And it's the same for Jeff Portman, who is over a minute from the lead and 10 seconds behind Fury. But at the end of the first night stage, he has caught the Datsun team and lies second. The dust is worse for other drivers, and Greg Carr is going to take every advantage, even though he doesn't know how bad it really is.
I'm aiming to capitalise on that. the field, we ran the first division in the daylight. The field was regrouped according to outright order. So anyone could have started first tonight. It just happened that we were fastest over the day, so we started first tonight, which is to my advantage, I guess, if there's going to be dust around, and I'll just make the most of it. Hopefully I'll be 10 minutes ahead tomorrow. Take it easy tomorrow.
Under these conditions, the experience of the driver could end up being the most telling factor. Colin Bond, the only professional driver in the field, is lying in 5th position at the moment. The gearbox troubles have dropped Wayne Bell to 6th. The Gemini is still quick, but not too reliable. The Datsun team is trying desperately to match Greg Carr. George Fury feels they could match him if it wasn't for the dust.
Yeah, I think we would, yeah. But as it is, we can't anyway. Not at the moment, anyhow.
Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to handle the dust. We can't change that. The amount of dust out there will mean that he won't be very competitive against Greg Carr, who's getting the clear run.
Team manager, Howard Marsden.
We're not complaining. That's part of rallying. We fully realise that that's the way things should be. But with regard to our information for the future, we'll know more as we leave this rally than when we first entered it.
Our car's still at an experimental stage, and we're using this opportunity to sort of prove the car or advance the car for the Australian Rally Championships, which is really our main aim.
Have you made any advantageous changes to the car?
Not yet. We're just playing with something now. I'll let you know later on.
While the Datsun team work to change their rear mounts, have there been any problems for the Escorts? Colin Bond.
No, it's running extremely well, actually. I think both cars are running faultlessly. We've really had to do nothing but put tyres on them. It's been wearing tyres out at a fantastic rate, but I think when you consider we've got 260 horsepower and trying to drive it through here, it does get a lot of wheel spin, and so we're very happy.
So as a team's effort, you're happy?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, Greg would be very hard to beat around here. He knows the area, and I think it is an advantage, obviously, because even if he gets a bit of dust, he probably knows where the road goes, and good luck to him because he lives here. And I think that, with, Greg and the BDA, I can't see anybody really coming out anywhere in the world and knocking him off around here. Be level pegging with George. I think George Fury and myself are running a few times, and we're around about the same as far as local knowledge is concerned, and we're pleased that we're doing about the same time, because most of the other events we go into, there's not much between Datsuns and the Escorts, and I think that right through the Australian Rally season, between Nissan and the Ford Motor Company, we have a ding-dong battle, and it just sort of continue on again tonight.
Ed Mulligan is being held back by the dust and loses time in the night division. However, Blair Robson, the New Zealand champion in the mass sport Escort, has begun the night quickly and is within striking distance of the lead cars. Now in a 15-minute period, the whole spectrum of the rally changes. Wayne Bell crosses the creek for the last time. After 15 stages, he's out with a shredded differential. And then only one stage later, car 2, George Fury, the main challenger, is also finished with a blown motor in the Datsun. The flattened exhaust has built up pressure and melted a piston. On through the night, it's Greg Carr in the Escort. His speed everywhere is just that little bit faster than everyone else. Now the Fords are running first and second. The only other chance is Jeff Portman. The Escort BDA took 8 years to develop, and at the moment is proving itself the fastest rally car in the world. There's no hesitation. Any pause is momentary as navigator Fred Gashentis forces the team on at maximum speed. The Massport team reach their second night service. Navigator Chris Porter studies his maps and instructions and gains valuable advice from local rally specialist Jerry Ball. They'll have to make up more time now because they've blown another tyre and run 7 kilometres on the rim. It's been a torrid start for the New Zealand team, who are not used to a short stage event like the CASTROL. It's taken its toll on a tired Blair Robson.
Well, I found it pretty hectic. We've unfortunately had a puncture in the first division. It set us back a little bit, but our time seemed to be fairly competitive. It's a matter now of hopefully not getting too much dust and being able to pull some time on the front runners.
I noticed there that the mechanics changed the axle, your rear axle.
Yeah, that's right. It's a precautionary measure. When we have a puncture like that, we've done about 7k on a rim, and the tendency is for it to put an extra loading on the axle, so we change it as a precautionary measure.
Now you're running back about half a dozen from the lead at the moment. With this dust hanging about in the sky, how is that affecting your driving?
Well, it means that we've got to back off a bit. There's no way we can press on and try and catch up time while we're fighting the dust problem. But everybody's, after car one's got it, so but unfortunately it just builds up with the other cars that are following.
You're a very experienced rally driver. Seeing yourself in this position now, in real terms, how much better can you go tonight?
Well, that depends. If the wind gets up, hopefully I'll be able to go a lot better. If it doesn't, well, I'm going to be stuck with the dust problem.
But the most disappointed man in the rally is Jeff Portman.
They've affected our times greatly. We've done about 5 minutes on the leaders. I think we've lost our chances of first or second outright. The actual problem was plug leads coming off. It happened 2 sections ago, and it happened last section. 2 cars got past us in the last section. Just the way it happens, I suppose.
Now, how do you feel when little things like that end up major things?
Not very pleased. We put a lot of effort into it. Our team puts a lot of effort into it. And if something small can happen, and you don't feel very pleased at the time, we'll get over it.
There's still a chance that you can improve your position from now.
Oh, we're going to try. Put new tyres in the car, fresh petrol in it. Get out there again, I think.
New tyres and fresh petrol for Jeff Portman, a bath for Neil Weston and Peter Berryman, and a ribbing from a huge crowd at Condor Creek. A four-wheel drive stands by, ready to help immediately. But the faithful can of dewatering fluid gets them on their way, just in time to stay ahead of the next car. Now in second place, Colin Bond will act as a buffer between teammate Greg Carr and the challenging Datsun of Jeff Portman, who is consistently matching the Fords. However, they don't have it all to themselves, as clubman driver Chris Gabriel has surprised everyone by staying on the leaders' tails. The battle for the minor placings is between Ed Mulligan, in now for a service, and the 2 state champions, Mike Batten from New South Wales and Ray Vandersea from Queensland. For many of the private entrants, the rally is a family outing. Wives and friends and even children help with the servicing, and this gives Chris Gabriel and Yvette Pologny a chance to recoup.
Yeah.
As the night division nears its end, Greg Carr and the awesome power of the Escort BDA continue to demoralise the rest of the field. Greg Carr wins every night stage but one, which went to teammate Colin Bond. The real battle now is whether Jeff Portman can break the Ford 1-2 combination. As well as Fury and Bell, 9 other competitors were forced out of the rally during the night. The dust had taken its toll. But it's rain and mud that greet the drivers on Sunday morning at the start of Division 3. Volunteer officials of the Southern Districts Motorsports Association check the competitors out at the first control. Greg Carr, despite having the advantage of running first through the night division, is a mere 4.5 minutes in front. 1 foot or 1 wheel wrong over the next 14 stages and he could easily lose his lead. He's had a new differential fitted overnight and is hoping to consolidate his position. Colin Bond starts the final division only 3.5 minutes in front of Jeff Portman. His role now will be to maintain second place at all costs.
This mud now on the road, conditions different from the dust last night. How are you going to approach it?
Oh, very fast.
Very fast?
We're out to catch Colin this morning, if we can.
What difference will it make running third?
Shouldn't make any difference at all. It would have last night with all the dust, but today under these conditions we'll be able to watch their braking marks, watch them, their lines through the corner.
20 seconds.
As he says, Jeff Portman will be sticking to the leader's tracks at top speed. It's an extremely determined Jeff Portman who sets out after Colin Bond. True to his word, halfway through this stage, he catches Colin Bond and makes up 58 seconds, finishing on top of him at the next control. The battle for the minor placings has resumed. Ed Mulligan, in another Datsun, is only 2.5 minutes in front of the 120Y, driven by Queensland champion Ray Vandersea, with the New South Wales champion Mike Batten having retired during the night. Blair Robson, after 3 flat tyres and a new differential, will be hoping for better luck today to improve his position. Back in the field, competitors are having problems adapting to the new conditions. The front runners have cut up the surface quagmire. An unusual feature of the CASTROL rally is that no matter where you strike trouble in the forest, it seems there's always someone there to help out. Greg Carr is forced to maintain the pace, but on this stage he has a couple of moments going too quickly and ends up losing 17 seconds to Colin Bond. Jeff Portman is still flat out. He has nothing to lose and picks up a further 16 seconds. Over the first stages of this last division, the drivers concentrate on adapting to the mud and different surface conditions. Still no problems with car 1. It's a routine service with a change of tyres, a quick check under the bonnet and a top up with fuel.
Oh, sorry.
Greg, reaching the last stages now of the last division. How are you feeling?
Oh, good. I'd like it a bit dry, but...
It's been raining a little bit more. The conditions getting any worse?
If we stay on this sort of stuff where it's got some surface, it's all right. But when we just get on the clay, it's very slippery. And of course the trouble is you get on some of this stuff and you're going along really well. Then all of a sudden you get a patch of just clay. Whoa, no.
Any advantages by running front up now?
No, it would be a disadvantage to run too far back. So I think probably anywhere in the first 6 cars would be pretty good in this sort of stuff. In fact, the first car's usually a disadvantage because if there's any really slippery corner, the first car finds it first and shows it for everybody else.
I've noticed that down at Blewett's.
Oh, yeah. But that's the problem, of course. Just one muddy corner that we don't read or, you know, just sort of comes out of the blue and that's it.
How's the concentration holding up?
Oh, good. Got to concentrate harder on this stuff. It's hard work.
Blair Robson seems more at home now. He's used to wet, muddy conditions in New Zealand. He's already passed Ray Vandersea and is lying 5th. But no one can match the skill, technique and speed of Greg Carr. The notorious mine shaft, a sheer 100-metre drop. Wayne Bell has joined the spectators to watch Greg Carr attack even the most dangerous section at top speed.
You run out of thread on the end of the bloody radius rod.
Car 7 has struck trouble and comes into the service area looking battered and bashed, but still hanging on grimly to 8th place. Driver Ian Hill explains what happened.
Basically on a fairly fast bit of road, just left the road sideways and then went down through a gully and hit 2 logs and just sort of rolled it on its side or end for end.
Any serious damage to the car besides bodywork?
Not really. It's just broke a couple of parts in the steering and we've repaired them. We're just repairing another bit now and basically other than that it still goes okay.
When something like that happens to you during the rally, how does it affect your driving?
Well, it won't affect my driving now. Probably drive harder just to try and make up the time that we've lost.
Jeff Portman can't seem to drive hard enough. Ed Mulligan is driving steadily and is still lying fourth. But if they could see Greg Carr, they'd be amazed at the way he's handling the course. He finds traction where no one else can and hardly ever lifts his foot off the throttle. Following drivers seem to crawl up the slopes Greg Carr has left in his wake. Because of the drenching rain, 3 competitive sections have been dropped, and this gives the drivers a chance to relax and swap yarns before the final stages.
And there's a drop off the other side, like all the trees and everything. You wouldn't know because you would have turned normal.
I don't remember that.
Just called
on
bare
the
left.
Some section, just out of control.
Just left the control.
Goes down a big straight.
Just straight.
Big straight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, and you sort of go down the hump.
Then it gets a bit twisty.
No, before you even get to that, when it's dead straight, you come to a T-junction, turn left.
Not the section I did.
Did the wrong section, Cole. Might have been the first one out of here then.
Yeah, this one. It's Paddy's River you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Turn left. Yeah, that's what.
But you call it a bare left.
You don't go straight on there.
No, that's right. Yeah.
About 1,000 foot below.
4, 15, 20, 15, 02, 07. Sorry, Dave. Missed it there. 15, 02, 07.
Car 7 into one of the last controls, and despite the battered look of the Lancer, co-driver Anne Heaney can still raise a smile.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The man no one can beat is the flying Greg Carr. Under these conditions, even professionals make mistakes. But few recover as easily. After starting as car 31, Chris Gabriel has driven well consistently. He will finish the rally as the leading clubman in 6th position overall. Jeff Portman sums up the rally from his point of view.
So it's been a good event. Have a little bit of everything, not only different roads, but we've had different conditions as well.
You've been happy with the way the car's gone?
Yeah, our car's gone well. We had problems last night, which cost us some time, but everything's going well now, and we're holding position.
How do you feel about being the leading privateer and really there's only 2 works cars in front of you?
Yeah, well, that's been our position lately. It's been the leading privateer and the works cars in front of us. We can't beat them, I don't think.
Well, I think the driver still makes a big difference in rallying. We're racing today. It's more technology, and having the best equipment and the best tyres on your car produces the performance. Obviously, you've got to be a skilled driver. I'm not sort of taking away from that, but I think rallying, you do a lot more slipping and sliding around the road. And there's a lot more skill, actually, because the car's sort of sliding a lot more, and you have, you must travel half the night sideways, I think, just correcting slides and all this type of thing, and throttle control. Whereas on a racetrack today, the fastest way to drive a car around a circuit is very straight, without sliding, and having the best sticky tyres you can possibly put on it.
But it's Greg Carr who has won 27 stages outright, and in the final stage gives another flawless display of driver technique. Carr finishes more than 7 minutes ahead of teammate Colin Bond and wins his 5th Castrol International Rally in a row. Through all types of conditions, the combination of the Ford Escort BDA, Greg Carr and navigator Fred Gascentis has proven unbeatable. Perhaps the winning difference was that throughout the whole rally there were no major problems for either of the Ford team cars. Jeff Portman finishes 3rd as the leading privateer, and despite trying as hard as he could, never quite caught the 2 works cars. If it hadn't been for minor problems during the night, it could have been a different result.
The winner of the 1979 Castrol International Rally, Greg Carr, navigated by Fred Gascentis. A tremendous effort for Greg, the 5th win in a row.
Ed Mulligan takes 4th place, while Greg Carr and Fred Gascentis take the trophy.
The trophy.
And 5th, a delighted Blair Robson, the New Zealand champion who promises to be back for the next Castrol International Rally.
Let's swap 4 wheels for 2, race over tonight.